How you doing? I'm Kenny Joya, and welcome to Reaper. Reaper is a powerful recording and editing program for both PC and Mac. And what makes it so powerful is it's completely customizable. In other words, you can change the program to work the way you want to. So if you're used to working in Pro Tools or Logic or Cubase, you can make Reaper behave that way. Or if you're not used to using any other DAW, and this is your first program for recording, you can make Reaper behave the way you want it to. So instead of you learning Reaper, Reaper will adjust to you. So this is how Reaper works. You have an edit window here, and right now you can see the dock, which is where the mixer window is. We can hide the dock, so we can see more of the edit window. And basically the music plays from left to right. So you have this ruler bar up here, and the music plays from here over to here. You have all these items here. They're called media items in Reaper. And it could be audio you recorded, it could be audio you placed in, it could be MIDI, it could be movies. And you can just click, delete them, undo, copy them, paste them, move them, just like you would in any other DAW. Here are your tracks. Each one has its own fader for volume, pan, left and right, mute, solo, and a whole bunch of other stuff we'll get into later. You have the transport bar down here. You can hit play to hear the music, stop it to stop hearing the music, record tracks. Here's where you are on the timeline. Bar 16, bar 21. Here's your tempo, and here's what you have selected. Bar 13 to bar 28. When you select things, you're preparing to loop them. So if I play, it's going to play from here to here and loop again. You can make any of these tracks bigger and smaller just by grabbing it and making it big, and grabbing it again to make it small. You can make the tracks wider, just so you can see things better, and smaller if you don't need to see things as clearly over here. I usually like to go big enough so I can see all the buttons here. Next, you have a toolbar, which is up here. Now, if you don't know what each tool stands for, you just hold your mouse over it, and it'll pop up. See, new project, open project, save project. Those are called tooltips. They pop up in yellow. Project settings. So if you don't know what something is, just hold the mouse over it for a second, and it'll pop right up, telling you what it is. We'll go through the toolbar further. But just keep in mind, we can change this completely. We can change the icons, we can change what each one of these things do. We could remove some of these, add new ones. Anything you want to do in Reaper, you could probably make a toolbar button for, and click that button and perform that action. It's completely customizable. Now for zooming, you can use the mouse wheel. Just click on a section, and just use your wheel on the mouse, and zoom all the way in. And zoom all the way back out. You can make all the tracks bigger and smaller using page up or page down. We'll get into all the key commands later. But remember, they could all be changed. So let's go back to our dock. In the dock, you'll see a bunch of things. Mixer, Media Explorer. These are all items that show up in the View menu. So you can switch them just by selecting them here. Routing matrix. But it's even easier to just do it right from here. So here's your mixer. Obviously, you change all your sounds here. Even though there's a fader on each one of these, there's also one here in the mixer in case you prefer to use a mixer window. But you can do most of the things right in the edit window. Then you get the Media Explorer. Here's where you choose sounds you want to import, in case you want to import sounds rather than record them. You can listen to them. Double click them and import them into your session. You get the big clock if you just want to see where you are in the song from far away. The virtual MIDI keyboard, which is kind of cool if you don't have a keyboard. Let's go to a MIDI track here. The synth. Go into record. And you see all the letters correspond to all the keys. So I can play the keyboard right from here. Then you got the navigator, which works like the universe window in Pro Tools, where you can just click the sections and your entire session shows up here. So you can just navigate to the early part of your session, the later part of your session, top, up, bottom. Just a quicker way to get around. And then you have your routing. You can change all the routing within the session right from this window. And then there's grouping that's part of the routing also. You can change all your groups. The other thing to keep in mind is you don't have to use the dock. You could take, say, the mixer window, right-click it, dock mixer and docker, turn that off. Now your mixer is its own window. You can hide it using the command for that. Let me just hide the docker for now. So the mixer becomes its own window, which is the way it works in Pro Tools. So you don't have to use the dock for your mixer window. It could be its own separate window. Let's open our dock again. You can see the dock is set to Alt-D on the PC or Option-D on the Mac. So I can just click it that way. Again, it can be changed. And you can just switch down here, or you could switch, say, the virtual MIDI keyboard right from here. And it pops that one up. But again, this can be its own free-floating window. Right-click over here somewhere, then remove it from the dock. Now the virtual keyboard becomes its own little window, which you can hide, get rid of the dock. You can open and close directly from here. Again, it has its own keystroke, which can be changed. So you can just open and close the virtual MIDI keyboard. And if you want, you can put it right back in the dock. So you don't have to use docks if you don't want to. Get my mixer window back up. Let's redock that. And you're back to docking everything. So you can just switch them all directly from here. So it's really up to you how you want to use it. Let's hide the dock, get back to this window. And that brings up another important feature in Reaper, right-clicking. If you right-click or Control on the Mac or Start on the PC, click anything, it'll bring up a pop-up menu where you can apply all your functions in Reaper right there. For instance, tracks. You can right-click it, gives you a whole bunch of things you can do with the track. Do the same thing to an item, a whole bunch of things you can do with the items. We're not going to go through them all right now. Just so you know, if you have any questions about anything, easiest thing to do is just right-click it, and you'll see all the options. Put my dock back on. For instance, our transport right here. I could right-click the record button, shows different record modes. Just about anything you can think of, you can right-click and change all the options for it. Another thing to note is not only can you change all the toolbars, you can change all the menus. So all these menus can be configured differently. You can change the key commands for anything, and you can also just remove any of these menu items. And you can add new ones, because there's a lot more to choose from. If you go to the action menu here, show action list, these are all the actions in Reaper. So any of these can be added to menu items, toolbars. I'll scroll through them so you can see how many there are. There's tons of options, and you can make your own too. So it's completely customizable. You got your toolbar, you got your menu items, and you got your key commands that work with your menu items. And you can set up key commands that have nothing to do with menu items. That all can be changed to work the way you want to. I changed a lot of them myself to work the way Pro Tools does. You could do it for Logic, Cubase, whatever. Or make completely new ones. Another thing I want to show you is you can change the look of Reaper completely. The colors, everything. One of the things you could change is a thing called themes. The way it looks right now is a theme I created, which is similar to the default. I'll show you. Under Options, see it says Themes. The default looks like this. Pretty similar, but it's a little more gray on the edit window. So I changed that in the preferences to make a theme that worked for me, called Kenny 1.1. Just a little bit brighter for the video. But there's literally hundreds available on the internet for free that you can download and make them look more like you want it to look. And you can customize and make your own. And share them. One of the things I like to do is to tint all the different tracks, so the different colors so they match the items. I'll show you. Go to Preferences, go to Appearance. Right here it says Tint Track Panel Backgrounds. Right here on the Track Control Panels, which is what they call over here, the Track Control Panel in the edit window. It says Tint Track Panel Backgrounds. If you click that, hit OK. All your tracks match the item colors. So it makes for a more colorful interface. So as you're scrolling through all the tracks, you can quickly see what goes with what. And you have the option of changing the individual colors of each item. You can just click on this item, right-click it, go to Item Settings, change the color to a custom color, and you get a little wheel. You can pop it up. Let's say we'll make it red instead of blue. And that item becomes red instead of blue. And you can do the same for each track. Just about everything can be colored differently. You undo that for now. So as you can see, you can completely customize how it looks and how it behaves. And another thing I should show you is the preferences. Go to Reaper, Preferences. In here you'll see there's tons of preferences to choose from. This is going to change how Reaper behaves. So it's worth taking the time and going through them all. And we'll go through a bunch of them as we do it in the following videos. You could adjust Reaper's editing behavior, how your mouse works, how the envelopes work, how MIDI works, how the appearance of everything works. Like I said, everything is customizable in this program. So it's pretty powerful, but it's also pretty simple. So that's the basics of Reaper. In the following videos, we're going to get really specific as to how each function really works. So let's go.